Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome from wherever you are listening to us from. We would also like to know where you are listening us from and let us know in the comment section. Today, I want us to talk about another great book written by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras. The book that we are summarizing today is Build to Last. So, we are summarizing Build to Last, how successful companies continue to grow and continue becoming successful and being successful for many generations. This book is written by Jim Collins. Jim Collins is also the author of Good to Great, another great book that we will also summarize in some later time, and also by Jerry Porras. We've said so. This book is written by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras. And as I always begin by letting you know the kinds of people or the groups of people who a certain book appeals to, so that they do not, these summaries do not waste your time, because probably you are in a different level in life and maybe you are interested in some aspects of life. Maybe you will always need to shelve others for some later time. So this book, Build to Last, who does it appeal to? Who is the best target audience for this book? So the first category is for professionals, and we have so many categories or examples of professionals. So in this category of professionals, this book will appeal to is good for, number one, business owners and CEOs, business owners and chief executive officers. The books focus on building long-term success and enduring companies, makes it directly relevant to anyone who wants to lead a successful organization. Still in the category of individuals, includes managers and executives, because the insights into leadership, culture, and strategy can be applied to all levels of leadership within a company. Also, another category of professionals is entrepreneurs, because the book offers valuable guidance on building company from the ground up and ensuring its long-term viability. Also, we have consultants and advisors, because the framework and principles which are presented in the book can be used to help clients achieve their business goals. And then anyone who is interested in business and management. This includes students or learners of business and management, because the books provides a fascinating and insightful look into the inner workings of successful companies, making this book a valuable read for anyone who is interested in the world of business. So that was the first category of professionals. This book will also appeal to people who are interested in personal growth and development, not just business and companies and startups and entrepreneurs. Anyone who wants to grow and develop personally. This includes individuals who are seeking to achieve their goals and aspirations, because the book's emphasis on discipline, persistence, and focus, which are some of the principles of successful companies have, can also be applied in any area of life, not just in business. Number two, these individuals are leaders of non-profit organizations and community groups. Are you a leader in a non-profit organization or a community group? This book has great insights for you. How can you see your organization or group success for generations to come? How can you grow from good to great and continue being great and successful for a longer time? The principles of building a strong and core ideologies and fostering a disciplined culture can be applied to any organization, regardless of its size or purpose. Then we also have individuals who are seeking aspiration or inspiration and motivation, because the book's stories of successful companies, 18 companies that were studied for a period of 6 years by these two gentlemen here, can provide encouragement and motivation to anyone who is seeking to achieve their own goals. Specific groups, students of business and management, this book is yours because it is a valuable resource for anyone who's taking courses in business, entrepreneurship, and leadership. So if you're a student, whether in your undergraduate, in a diploma, whichever level of education, this book is a must read. If you are taking any business course, entrepreneurship course, or any leadership, business leadership, or any leadership, this is a must read book. It's a must read book. Members of business associations and professional organizations, this book is also yours because the insights which are shared by these two gentlemen can be applied in any group for mutual learning and development. Then, do you have are you a member of a book club or a reading group, or are you a leader there? This book's engaging writing style and thought-provoking content will make it a great choice of discussion and debate within your club. Well, I also always say that these summaries that we give you from VidanMeds are powerful and helpful resources because they will always help you understand or make a better decision of whether you should commit your resources, with your money or your time, to reading this book or even buying it and stocking it in your home library. This summary that we are going to give you of Build to Last has got you covered for anything that you might want to know about this book. Well, in part 1 and part 2, as I always do, I'll give you quite a number of things, the ideas or the themes, the chapter titles, takeaways. I'll tell you more about the authors, comparison of this book to others. I've talked of the target audience, but we can still go with a more in-depth analysis of the target audience, the reception of this book. As I always give you recommendations. I always give you recommendations of other similar and related books. I'll also give you a biggest takeaway. I'll give you several takeaways, of course, but I'll help you summarize this book in one big main takeaway. And of course, I'll give you practical ways and strategies on how you can apply the book's knowledge in your personal, real life, starting today. Well, that's what we will dive deeper into in the next 30 minutes for part 1 and another 30 minutes for part 2, making a total of 1 hour. So purpose to listen to both parts so that you can have a big picture. The overview of this book is that, or the main topic of this book. So this book is all about a certain concepts or certain principles. And from the title, remember the title is Build to Last. That is successful habits of visionary companies. Build to Last, successful habits of visionary companies. Now, look at that subtitle before even you go deeper. Successful habits of visionary companies. We did not talk of other things such as, for example, part of the habits that we'll talk about maybe include the systems, the discipline, the culture, and so on. But I want you to get the term habits. There's a book that we summarized, a book by Gretchen Rubin, Better Than Before. It's a book that you can check. It's one of our, in one of our summaries. You can look it in our YouTube videos that we have, or even in our write-ups. So, in that book, Gretchen argues that our habits, not our willpower, are the architects of our future, our lives. You want to achieve great things in life. There are those projects that you want to accomplish and do. There are those dreams that you have in your mind. You have the desire and the willpower to go after them no matter what. But what stops you? What has been stopping you from achieving those great dreams, desires, and destinies that you've always had them in your mind? You are even having them right now. What has been stopping you? You have the willpower, yes. You have the willpower. You really want to do that. You really desire to do that. What has been stopping you? your habits. Habits are silent architects of our lives. And until we change our habits, our lives will always remain the same. And the dreams that we want will always be illusions. We'll never achieve them. In this book, that's why Jim and Jerry talks of habits, successful habits. Habits are keys to any life that you want to live. So the main topic of this book is exploring the characteristics, habits, the characteristics and guiding principles of visionary companies that have achieved long-term success and endured for generations. So this book is all about that. It's about exploring the characteristics and guiding principles. What have they been doing? What are some of the things that they will never go against? What are some of their cultures, their habits that they've been doing over and over again that they've had or achieved long-term success for generations? These companies have never failed for many generations. So what is the secret? Well, in this book, we'll dive deeper into that. It will ask or try to answer the fundamental question of what truly makes some companies thrive while others falter. What makes some companies keep on doing business and succeeding, exploring new horizons year after year, while some other companies they start off well, but in the 5th anniversary they are almost down. What is the difference between these two companies? What are some of the characteristics that sets these successful companies apart? What can startups learn from these companies that have endured long-term success? This is the answers, or that is a question that this book answers. Regardless of the external factors and economic conditions, some companies have continued to thrive. Regardless of inflation, interest rates, depression, COVID-19, whatever comes, these companies have stood the test of time. Over generations, they've succeeded. So, what are their secrets? What are their guiding principles? What are their working values? What are their characteristics? What do these companies have in common? It is all about understanding the core principles and practices that they have embraced over time. Such as what? What have they embraced over time? Should I tell you their secrets? Keep listening. Keep walking with us. By the end of this part 1 and by the end of this summary, you'll know the secrets of these successful companies, what they've been doing over time, and things that you can implement, starting with your small business, your startup, and even your life. Right. So it's a research that these two buddies, Jim and Jerry, did. Remember, they are trying to answer a question. They are curious. Why do some companies continue to thrive over and over again despite the external conditions or the internal conditions, whether we are transiting from one technological advancement to another, any outbreak, any attack, whatever happens, these companies will always stand to succeed? So that's a question that these guys were trying to understand or to answer. So what they did, they conducted a 6-year research study. For 6 years, they studied these companies and did this study for 6 years. And their aim was to identify key characteristics and principles that contribute to long-term organizational success. So here's the breakdown of the research methodology. Of course, I'll not go deeper into that, but Jim and Jerry surveyed 1,000 CEOs to identify companies with strong reputation for long-term success and enduring greatness. So the answers that we'll get here in this book on how to build a business that will last. So the insights that we'll get comes from 1,000 CEOs? Number 2, the answers will come from, these authors selected 18 companies that met their criteria and were considered visionary. These companies represented diverse industries and sizes, including Boeing, Disney, Hewlett Packard, that is HP, the computers, Johnson & Johnson, and 3M. So those visionary companies, 18 of them. This book is a no joke. This book is a no joke. 18 companies, visionary companies, 1,000 CEOs, and then they paired each visionary company with a comparison company, in quotes, comparison company, that was similar in size, industry, and founding date, but did not achieve the same level of sustained success. So they took these companies, each visionary, the 18 of them, then they were pairing them, or each company, with another company that, now if you find that, if, for example, if we are talking of HP, Hewlett Packard, another company that was started at the same time, they're in the same industry, but they've not achieved the same level of success. So it's like they're trying to figure out, why has HP been successful for all that time, but this other company which was started at the same time, still focuses on the same thing, failed. So what is the correlation between the two? What are some of the distinguishing characteristics between the two? So out of the 18 companies, each company was given a comparison company, a company that has already failed, but now we have the 18 of them, each company which has been successful over time. So they studied that for 6 years, and they came up with characteristics that make these successful companies stand out. You will know about these characteristics. I'll give you a summary of them, and if you want to know more about them in a deeper level, please, I urge you to get this book in your favorite format, whether it's an ebook, an audiobook, a hardcover, a paperback, whichever, in your favorite store. Though we'll have an affiliate link taking you to Amazon, but it's your choice. It's your choice to select whichever format, whichever store you'll buy it. But this book, I know it will resonate with you greatly. So this book was published in 1994 by Harper Business, written by Jim Collins, who is a business consultant, author, and speaker. I'll also give you the bio of these two. And Jerry Porras, a professor of business administration at Stanford Graduate School of Business. Now, I want to give you 10 ideas or arguments which are presented in Build to Last. You can still call them themes which are presented in this book. Number 1. So, it's like in this book, each principle that they found, or each characteristic, these characteristics that these successful companies had in common, those characteristics, the authors put them in their specific chapters. So each chapter dives deeper into a specific characteristic of successful and visionary companies. So in the first one talks of, we can call it chapter 1, and not chapter 1 actually, the key idea or argument. One of the characteristics include clock building, not time telling. Clock building, that is one of the characteristics of these companies. Clock building, not time telling. So what does that mean? Visionary companies focus on building an enduring organization, not just relying on a single leader. They prioritize building a strong system and culture that can sustain success over time. Not just a leader, not just one single leader. They do not have a name of a leader behind it, but they have the name of an organization. Visionary companies focus on building an enduring organization, not just relying on a single leader. They prioritize building a strong system and culture that can sustain success over time. So leaders, as the business starts to grow, they get themselves out of the business. They become irrelevant in the business, and that's how the businesses grow. Look at your business. Without you, the business is not there. you've been working in your business or maybe in a startup, the leader or the founder of that business is in that business till death. And when he or she dies, that's the end of the business. But these great companies do not operate that way. Leaders make themselves insignificant, or the founders of the businesses, of the companies, they make themselves insignificant. They own everything, but they own nothing. You get the point? So they control everything, but they also control nothing. It is not a matter they are there so that the business can continue running. So they retire from their businesses very early. They know their exit strategy. So they don't want to be there. The hallmark of the business, they don't want to be named as the leader of the business. They want the business organization, they've established the systems, the business to grow on its own. Number 2, they no tyranny of the or. No tyranny of the or. No tyranny of the or. So visionary companies embrace the and not or. And not or. They believe in pursuing seemingly contradictory goals like being both profitable and socially responsible, or being both innovative and disciplined. So the tyranny of the or. So they are either profitable and social, or being innovative and disciplined. Number 3, more than profits. They focus more than profits. That's another characteristic. They focus more than profits. Visionary companies are driven by more than just profit. They have a core purpose or ideology that guides their decisions and inspires their employees. This purpose is not simply about making money, but about making a difference. That's another key characteristic of these successful companies. Money is just a byproduct of what they are doing to the world. Number 4, they preserve the core and stimulate progress. Visionary companies preserve their core ideology while also being open to change and progress. They find ways to adapt to new circumstances without losing their sight of the core values. Number 5, these companies have big, hairy, audacious goals. We can call it BHAGs, BHAGS, big, hairy, audacious goals, the BHAGs. So those companies, those 18 companies, successful companies, the authors found that they have big, hairy, audacious goals. They set ambitions, long-term goals that are both exciting and challenging. These BHAGs provide a clear direction for the company and motivate employees to achieve great things. Number 6, they have a cult-like culture. These companies have a cult-like culture. Visionary companies have strong cultures that are almost cult-like in their intensity. These cultures are built around the core ideology and attract people who are deeply committed to the company's mission. In other words, they began with the why. Start with the why. Why did this company start? What was the ideology before that necessitated these companies to come into being? What was in their mind of their founders? That ideology creates a culture that becomes like a cult because of the intensity. Number 7, they try a lot of stuff and keep what works. They try a lot of stuff and keep what works. Visionary companies are not afraid to experiment and try new things. They learn from their successes and failures, and they are always looking for ways to improve. Number 8, home growth management. Home growth management is another characteristic, or we're calling them the ideas. So visionary companies promote from within whenever possible. They believe in developing their own leaders and creating a leadership pipeline that can sustain success over time. So home growth management, we are talking of them promoting within whenever possible. If they need some promotions here and there, they are not going outside to look for others. It's inbuilt. Home. Charity begins at home. So they believe in developing their own leaders, not picking leaders from outside or stealing them from other companies. They develop their own. because they own have the culture that they want, they have their ideology, and through that they sustain success over time. Number 9, good enough never is. They believe that good is never enough. So visionary companies are never satisfied with the status quo. They are always looking for more. They always want to achieve more. They are always striking to be better, even when they are already successful. Look at that. They are always striving, even when they know they are already successful. They are always looking for more ways to be better, because they believe and they know that good is never enough. Number 10, they are built to last, not just survive. These companies are built to last, not just survive. So visionary companies are built to last for generations, not just for the short term. They are committed to building an enduring legacy that will make a positive impact on the world. So that's a summary of 10 key characteristics of principles that set successful companies for many generations apart from companies which are struggling and always starting and restarting and failing over and over again. So when you go to the book and the summary of the chapter titles and main sections, the chapters dive deeper into these some of these characteristics. So when you get the book, each chapter will focus more on these characteristics, the ones that I've told you and others. So do you want to get these enticing characteristics in much deeper level? Yes, of course, I know you want. So please get the book. Please get this book. If you are among the people that I began by giving a list of specific people, individuals who will benefit from this book. So some chapters includes the chapter 1, what makes a company visionary. But that chapter defines visionary companies and distinguishes them from comparison companies. Into quotes, comparison companies. It talks of comparison companies in this context. And then this also chapter debunks 12 myths about what makes companies successful. There are so many myths. What makes a company successful? There are so many myths. These guys went into research. It's not just theoretical. So those theoretical things that makes a company successful, they call them myths. They are disqualified in chapter 1, and then the Jeff and that is Jim and Jerry dive deeper into their research, and they find out key characteristics that some of them we've talked about, including clock building, not time telling, more than just profits, core ideologies, the big hairy audacious goals, the bugs, cult-like cultures. They try a lot of stuff and keep what works. The ones that I'm mentioning, they are the same principles or characteristics that we've mentioned above, and they are specific chapters in the book, right? So they go deeper into that. Homegrown management, good is never enough, and then they finalize by giving us how we can build our vision. They recap the takeaways and principles. They offer practical guidance for building a visionary company, and they give us a call to action for aspiring visionary leaders. So does this book sound like enticing? Yes, I know that. Yes, I know that if you're serious about your business and about yourself. So that marks the end of part 1 because of the interest of time. In part 2, we'll go into key characteristics, takeaways about the authors, how we can apply the book's principles, and of course some book recommendations. So are you ready for part 2? Let's meet in part 2. Until next time, bye bye for now.